Do you know what's most powerful about all of this? Small daily changes lead to massive differences over time. Think about it. By improving your attitude, your communication, your self-discipline, or even your time management, you're laying a brick on a foundation that will support something big. But the secret is to start small. For instance, start by improving your attitude today. I remember early in my career, my attitude was the thing that needed the most work. How you view problems, how you approach challenges, and how you interact with others are all shaped by your attitude. You can either be a magnet for opportunities or a block against them. It all depends on how you choose to see the world. Someone who is constantly negative repels opportunities, while an optimistic person attracts collaboration and support. I learned early on that every decision, no matter how small, shapes the future. At the beginning of my journey, when no one believed in me, including the universities and companies that rejected me, the only thing I had was the conviction that every day was a new chance to try. And that's what kept me going. The magic of small steps. Magic lies in small steps. It's not about doing something grand all at once, but about starting with something small and turning it into a habit. When people ask me, Jack, what's the secret to your success? I always reply, simple disciplines repeated every day. Think about it. What are you doing today that could create a transformation a year from now? It's like planting a seed. At first, it seems insignificant, but over time, it becomes a great tree. To achieve this, you must act with intention. Most people wake up and let the day happen. Don't be like most people. Start your day by asking yourself, what can I do today that brings me closer to my dream? For me, it was something as simple as studying English on my own or imagining how I could transform small shops in China into something big. It might seem like a distant dream, but dreams are like stars. They guide the way. I like to say, if not now, when? If not me, who? Many of us wait for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment you have is now. During the building of Alibaba, there were countless days when I didn't know what would happen tomorrow. But I knew that doing something, even something small at that moment, was the most important thing. No matter how complicated the painting may seem, we can always add a new brush stroke now. Your daily masterpiece. Ask yourself, what will your painting look like today? Small steps, small actions. That's how you begin to create a masterpiece. The question that remains is, how will you use your brush tomorrow? Because tomorrow's canvas is already waiting, and you have everything you need to paint something incredible. Attitude, your life's compass. I always say, your attitude is the compass that guides your life. You may be surrounded by difficulties, but a positive attitude is like a lighthouse, keeping you focused in the right direction. When I started, I had no money, no connections, and no technical knowledge. Still, what set me apart was my belief that with optimism and persistence, opportunities would appear. Think about it. Who do you attract into your life when you smile in the face of challenges? Asterisk attitude isn't something that just happens, it's a daily choice. I remember being rejected by over 30 companies, including KFC. Many would have given up, but I chose to see each rejection as a lesson. I turned those no's into fuel to keep trying. One of the biggest lessons I learned was that how you face challenges determines whether they become barriers or bridges. Small changes in how you approach life can completely transform your opportunities. Believe me, the world doesn't fall in love with the smartest or the most qualified person, but with the most resilient one. Becoming a magnet for opportunity. Imagine yourself as a magnet. Your energy attracts what you emit. If you're confident, grateful, and proactive, the world will respond in kind. So today, ask yourself, what kind of energy are you putting out there? I like to use a simple metaphor. Attitude is like a seed you plant every day. If you cultivate optimism, you'll see positive results. If you feed pessimism, things will only seem to get worse. I used to wake up every day and tell myself, today, I'm grateful for what I have, even if it's not much. This practice gave me the strength to keep going even when it felt impossible. Remember, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. Too often, we waste energy trying to change others or the circumstances around us. But true transformation begins within. So, how can you adjust your attitude tomorrow to turn challenges into opportunities? That's what I want you to think about. Communication. The art of connection. Communication is an art that goes beyond words. It's not just about speaking, but about connecting, about creating an impact that resonates. I, Jack Ma, learned this lesson early on when I started my journey. My English was limited, but I realized that how I communicated could open doors. That's why I started practicing every day, watching movies, listening to music, and even working as a free tour guide. For me, it wasn't just about learning a language. It was about connecting different worlds. A great leader isn't the one who talks the most, but the one who listens best. This was something that surprised me over the years. At first, I thought leading a team was about giving orders. Then I realized it was about listening to their ideas, understanding their struggles, and inspiring them to believe in what was possible. The ability to listen transforms any conversation into an opportunity for learning. Have you ever tried listening to someone, not to reply, but to truly understand? When I think about communication, one crucial point comes to mind: clarity. We often complicate messages, and this distances us from others. Great communicators simplify. One of the most valuable lessons I learned while building Alibaba was how to convey big ideas in a way that everyone, from engineers to delivery workers, could understand. Clarity inspires confidence, and confidence builds powerful connections. Building bridges with words. Communicating well is like building a bridge. Every word you use is a brick, and every gesture reinforces the structure. Once, during an event, I realized that young people fear public speaking because they fear judgment. My advice has always been practice, practice, and practice some more. No one is born excellent at this skill, but everyone can improve with effort. Have you ever tried rehearsing a presentation in front of a mirror? It sounds simple, but it's transformative. Effective communication is your secret weapon. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, the ability to listen and convey ideas with impact is rare and therefore valuable. How can you take the first step today to improve this? Perhaps it's writing a clearer message or having a more empathetic conversation. Each small improvement creates a ripple effect. And now, what will your next message to the world be? Self-discipline. The bridge to your dream. Self-discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It's built through small, consistent actions: waking up early, completing tasks, staying focused. Early in my career, I realized that talent is useless without discipline. There were days when I didn't feel motivated, but I knew that discipline could carry me further than my feelings. It's like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Discipline doesn't mean making massive sacrifices every day. It's about building habits that make decisions easier over time. For example, I developed the habit of reading daily to broaden my perspective. It wasn't about reading for hours, but making it a consistent part of my routine. These small habits compound over time, creating extraordinary results. Think of it like saving money. Each small deposit grows into something significant. One of my favorite principles is this: habits reduce the need for willpower. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to waste energy deciding whether or not to do it. It becomes automatic. Early in Alibaba's journey, I made a commitment to show up every single day with focus and intention. No matter how uncertain the future seemed, showing up consistently is half the battle won. The power of no discipline is also about saying no. In a world full of distractions, knowing what to ignore is just as important as knowing what to focus on. During the early days of Alibaba, we faced countless tempting opportunities that weren't aligned with our mission. It was discipline that kept us on the path we believed in. Even when others doubted us, every time you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to your future. If you want to achieve your goals, build discipline into your life. Start with one small habit today. Perhaps it's as simple as setting aside 10 minutes to plan your day. Tomorrow, take another step. Over time, these small acts of discipline will transform your life in ways you can't yet imagine. Challenging limiting beliefs. Often, what holds us back isn't the world around us, but the beliefs we carry within. Limiting beliefs are like invisible walls. They don't exist, but we act as if they do. When I was younger, I was told repeatedly that I wasn't smart enough or qualified enough to succeed. At first, I believed it. But then I asked myself, who gets to decide what I'm capable of? Beliefs are just thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. I like to say that every day is a new chance to replace I can't with I'm learning. It's a subtle shift, but it creates a world of difference. When we started Alibaba, people laughed at the idea that a group of young people with no resources could build a global company, but we believed that every challenge was an opportunity to grow. That belief became the foundation of our success. Rewiring your brain. Start small. Challenge just one belief that's holding you back. Maybe it's the idea that you're not good at something. Instead of avoiding it, try to learn it step by step. Early in my journey, I struggled with public speaking. I thought, I'm just not good at this, but I started practicing one small speech at a time until it became a strength. Limiting beliefs often come from comparing ourselves to others. But here's the truth: everyone's journey is unique. I remember a time when I compared Alibaba to big companies like Amazon or eBay and felt overwhelmed. But then I realized that trying to imitate someone else's path would only limit us. Instead, we focused on building something original, tailored to the needs of Chinese businesses. Changing your beliefs is like rewiring your brain. It takes time and effort, but the results are worth it. What belief will you challenge today? Remember, Every step you take to challenge those invisible walls brings you closer to the life you want. Time management, your most precious resource. All have 24 hours in a day, but how we use that time makes all the difference. Early in my career, I often felt overwhelmed, like there wasn't enough time to do everything. Then I realized it's not about having more time, it's about using it wisely. Time is your most precious resource, and how you spend it defines your success. The key to effective time management is prioritization. When building Alibaba, we had to decide what mattered most each day, because trying to do everything at once would lead to failure. I developed the habit of creating a simple list of priorities each morning. This one habit transformed my productivity because it gave me clarity and focus. One thing I've learned is the power of saying no. There are countless distractions competing for your attention. Every day, social media, unnecessary meetings, trivial tasks, these are like weeds that choke the garden of your time. By saying no to what doesn't add value, you make room for what truly matters. Investing your time wisely. Like to think of time as an investment. Every minute you spend is a choice. Are you spending it on something that grows your future or something that holds you back? I once told a group of young entrepreneurs, your biggest competitor is not others, it's your time. If you want to succeed, treat your time like gold. Time management isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Start today by identifying just one thing that wastes your time and replace it with something meaningful. Maybe it's spending 30 minutes reading instead of scrolling through your phone. Over time, these small changes add up to a life that's more productive, focused, and fulfilling. Continuous learning, your competitive edge. Of the world is changing rapidly, and learning every day is essential. Formal education may help you survive, but self-education helps you thrive. When I was younger, I didn't have access to the best schools or resources, but I had a hunger for knowledge. I read books, listened to tapes, and learned from anyone willing to teach me. That curiosity became my greatest asset. Knowledge is the one investment that never loses value. When I built Alibaba, I wasn't the smartest person in the room. In fact, I often hired people smarter than me, but I was always learning from my team, from my competitors, and even from our failures. The more you know, the more you grow. Learning doesn't have to be complicated. Start small, read an article, watch a lecture, or listen to a podcast. One of my favorite practices was reading biographies of great leaders. It was like having a conversation with them, learning from their successes and mistakes. Have you ever read Steve Jobs' biography? It's filled with lessons about innovation and resilience. The power of consistency. The key is consistency. You don't have to spend hours every day, but you do need to make learning a habit. Even 15 minutes a day can make a difference over time. I once told a group of students, if you stop learning, the world will leave you behind. Knowledge is your competitive edge in a fast-paced world. The most successful people I know have one thing in common, they're always learning. So what will you learn today? Remember, every new piece of knowledge you acquire is like a tool you can use to build your future. Financial discipline, building your foundation, improving your financial life starts with small, consistent actions. When I was younger, I didn't have much money, but I learned early that managing what little I had was more important than earning more. People often think wealth comes from earning large sums, but the truth is it comes from how you manage what you already have. It's not about how much you make, but how much you keep and how wisely you use it. The secret lies in building healthy financial habits. Start by tracking your expenses, no matter how small. I remember teaching myself to create simple budgets, dividing my income into essentials, savings, and a small portion for opportunities. This practice made me more disciplined and allowed me to take small financial risks that eventually paid off. You don't need a fortune to start, you just need a system. The priceless power of dreams. In principle I live by is, when you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. Even when my bank account was empty, I held on to the dream of building something big. That dream fueled my energy and creativity, helping me find ways to save and invest no matter how limited my resources were. Remember, dreaming isn't just free, it's priceless. Financial discipline isn't just about saving. It's also about investing in the future. When we started Alibaba, we didn't have much capital, but we prioritized investments that would drive growth, like technology and people. It's the same with personal finances. Focus on areas that will bring long-term benefits. Whether it's education, a business, or building a safety net, the journey to financial security is a marathon, not a sprint. Start today by taking one small step. Whether it's cutting an unnecessary expense or setting aside a little money each week. Over time, these small habits will create a financial foundation that supports your dreams. Personal growth, a journey without a finish line. Growth is a journey without a finish line. Every day offers a chance to improve emotionally, intellectually, or professionally. I've always believed that progress matters more than perfection. When I started Alibaba, I had no idea how to run a tech company. But instead of waiting to become an expert, I focused on learning as I went. Each step forward, no matter how small, was a step closer to success. Self-awareness is the key to personal growth. Take the time to reflect on your strengths and weaknesses. I often ask myself, what can I do better today than I did yesterday? It's a simple question, but it leads to powerful insights. Whether it's communication, decision-making, or even patience, there's always room to grow. Have you ever paused to evaluate where you stand and where you want to go? Resilience, your greatest teacher. Personal development is not just about knowledge. It's also about resilience. Life will challenge you, and those challenges are your greatest teachers. I remember facing countless obstacles while building Alibaba, from funding issues to fierce competition, but each obstacle taught me something new, and each lesson made me stronger. Challenges are not setbacks. They're opportunities to become better. Life is full of ups and downs, but the ability to bounce back from setbacks is what truly defines your success. I often tell people, your greatest lessons come from your toughest moments. When I failed university entrance exams multiple times or was rejected by dozens of companies, I could have given up, but I didn't. Those failures became stepping stones for something bigger. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure, it's about embracing it. Each time you fall, you gain the strength to rise higher. At Alibaba, there were countless moments when things didn't go as planned, from funding crises to competitive threats. But every challenge was a chance to learn, adapt, and come back stronger. What challenges have you faced recently, and how have they shaped you? Building resilience starts with a mindset shift. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what can I learn from this? This simple shift turns obstacles into opportunities. For example, when our early e-commerce ideas faced skepticism, we used that criticism to refine and improve. Resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about growing. Another key to resilience is having a support system. During tough times, I relied on my team, my family, and even my own belief in our mission to keep moving forward. Who do you turn to when the going gets tough? Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you makes a huge difference. Resilience is a skill you build over time, one setback at a time. Start today by reframing a challenge as an opportunity. The question isn't whether you'll face adversity, you will. The real question is, how will you respond? Sharing knowledge, multiplying its value. Sharing knowledge multiplies its value. When I started teaching English as a young man, I discovered that explaining concepts to others helped me understand them better. This principle has stayed with me throughout my life. When you teach, you don't just help others, you reinforce your own learning. At Alibaba, we believe in sharing what we know, not just within the company but with the world. I've always encouraged my team to mentor others, speak at conferences, and share their expertise. Why? Because the more you give, the more you receive. Knowledge isn't a limited resource. It grows when shared. Sharing knowledge also builds trust and connections. When you openly share your insights, people see you as authentic and generous. During the early days of Alibaba, we shared our vision openly with partners and customers. This transparency helped us gain their trust and support. Have you ever shared an idea and seen how it inspired someone else? It doesn't have to be complicated. Sharing can be as simple as recommending a book, offering advice, or helping a colleague solve a problem. I remember once sharing a small piece of advice with a young entrepreneur. Years later, he told me that it changed his life. Never underestimate the power of even the smallest act of teaching. Today, think about one piece of knowledge or insight you can share. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking, it just has to be helpful. When you share what you know, you create a ripple effect that can reach far beyond what you imagine. Creativity, solving problems in new ways. Creativity isn't just for artists or inventors. It's for anyone who wants to improve their life. I've always believed that creativity starts with asking one simple question: what if? When I looked at China's small businesses struggling to reach a larger market, I asked myself, what if we could connect them to the world through the internet? That question became the seed for Alibaba. Being creative means solving problems in new ways. It's not about having all the answers, it's about being curious enough to explore possibilities. Some of the best ideas I've ever had came from simply observing everyday problems and thinking, how can this be done differently? Creativity doesn't require genius, just curiosity. One way to boost creativity is to seek inspiration from unexpected places. I've learned a lot about innovation not just from business books, but from movies, music, and even nature. Have you ever watched a bird build a nest? It's a masterclass in resourcefulness and perseverance. Inspiration is everywhere if you're willing to look. Thriving through collaboration. Credivi also thrives in collaboration. Some of Alibaba's most innovative solutions came from brainstorming sessions where everyone, regardless of rank, could share ideas. Diversity of thought leads to breakthroughs. Are you creating space for collaboration in your own life? The key to creativity is taking action. It's not enough to have ideas. You need to test them, fail, and refine. So, what problem will you approach differently today? Remember, every great innovation started as a simple what if. Authenticity, the foundation of strong relationships. Safik is the foundation of any strong relationship. People don't just follow you because of your title or accomplishments. They follow you because they trust and believe in you. Early in my career, I learned that relationships built on pretense don't last. To create genuine connections, you must show who you really are, flaws and all. At Alibaba, I made it a point to treat everyone with respect. From my team to our customers, I often told my employees, if we want others to trust us, we must first trust them. Trust is a two-way street, and it starts with honesty and empathy. Are you showing the people around you that you value and respect them? Building authentic relationships also means listening deeply. It's not about waiting for your turn to speak, but about truly hearing what the other person is saying. During difficult times at Alibaba, my team's feedback often gave me the clarity I needed to make better decisions. Listening is one of the most powerful tools for strengthening relationships. The ripple effect of gratitude. Small gestures of gratitude can make a big difference. I always made time to thank my team, even for the little things. A simple thank you or I appreciate your effort can inspire loyalty and dedication. Have you expressed gratitude to someone recently? Small gestures of gratitude often lead to great results. The best part about gratitude is that it's contagious. When you express it, others start to see the good in their own lives as well. I've seen this ripple effect countless times in my personal and professional life. Gratitude creates a positive energy that spreads far and wide, turning ordinary interactions into meaningful connections. Start small today. Take a moment to appreciate something simple: the sun shining, a kind word from a friend, or even the lessons you've learned from a difficult experience. Gratitude is a habit, and like all habits, it grows stronger with practice. So what will you be grateful for today? Environment, shaping who you are. Your environment shapes who you are. Surround yourself with the right people and influences, and you'll grow in ways you never imagined. When I started Alibaba, I knew I had to build a team of passionate, positive people who believed in the mission. That environment of optimism and collaboration became the foundation of our success. The people around you are like mirrors. They reflect your thoughts, energy, and ambitions. I like to say, show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. If you're surrounded by negativity, it's easy to lose focus and confidence. But when you're with people who challenge and inspire you, they push you to become your best self. Nourishing your mind. It's not just about people, it's also about what you consume. The books you read, the media you watch, and the conversations you have all shape your mindset. During the early days of Alibaba, I immersed myself in stories of entrepreneurs and innovators. Those stories fueled my belief that anything was possible. What are you feeding your mind with today? Sometimes, changing your environment means making tough choices. There were times when I had to distance myself from those who doubted me. It wasn't easy, but I knew that protecting my energy and focus was essential to achieving my goals. If something or someone is holding you back, are you willing to let it go for the sake of your future? Creating a supportive environment takes effort, but it's worth it. Start by identifying one area of your life that could use an upgrade. Maybe it's spending more time with uplifting people, or decluttering your workspace. Each small change creates a ripple effect, helping you grow into the person you want to be. Leadership, inspiring through action. Leadership isn't about authority. It's about responsibility. True leaders inspire others by their actions, not just their words. I often tell people a good leader doesn't climb the mountain for themselves. They climb it to show others the way. Leadership is about creating a vision and empowering others to achieve it. One of the biggest lessons I've learned about leadership is that it starts with humility. Early in my journey, I didn't know everything, but I was willing to learn from those around me. I hired people smarter than me and gave them the freedom to innovate. Great leaders don't need to have all the answers. They just need to ask the right questions. Showing courage. Inspiring others means showing courage, especially in tough times. During the early days of Alibaba, there were moments when everything seemed uncertain, but I knew that if I showed fear, my team would lose confidence. Leadership means standing strong and showing others that challenges are opportunities in disguise. Leaders also need to have a clear vision. When we built Alibaba, our goal wasn't just to create an e-commerce company. It was to empower small businesses around the world. A clear vision inspires others to believe and work towards something greater than themselves. What's your vision and how are you sharing it with others? The most powerful form of leadership is leading by example. If you want your team to work hard, you must work harder. If you want them to stay optimistic, you must show optimism. Leadership isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them what's possible. Simplicity, the path to clarity. So many times, less really is more. Complexity often leads to confusion, while simplicity creates clarity and focus. When we were building Alibaba, one of the most valuable lessons I learned was the power of simplifying processes, goals, and communication. Simplification doesn't just save time, it amplifies results. Start by identifying what truly matters. Many people waste time on unnecessary tasks or overthink decisions. I like to ask myself, what's the one thing I can do today that will have the greatest impact? Focusing on that one thing creates momentum and eliminates distractions. Are you spending your time on what really matters? Simplification also applies to decision-making. Early in my career, I realized that trying to do everything at once led to burnout and poor results. Instead, I began prioritizing tasks and delegating what others could handle better. By narrowing your focus, you can put your energy into what you do best. Another area where simplicity shines is communication. Whether it's a business pitch or a team meeting, clear and straightforward communication gets better results. When explaining Alibaba's vision, I always made sure it was easy to understand for everyone.